Hi everyone, myself Profitability Ratios, Assistant Professor, Department of Commerce and Computer Application in Dr.S.DHIVYA College of Arts and Science, Autonomous. In this session, we are going to discuss about the topic is stock turnover ratio. Before we will see the topic we have covered is ratio analysis. Actually, the meaning of ratio analysis is it is a study of relationship between the factors influencing in the internal construction. That is the amount which we have invested and the liabilities and the asset, profit and loss account. These items which we have incurred in the internal constructions. The study about these factors is called the ratio analysis. So in the ratio analysis, there are four functional classification. First one is the liquidity. That is the current ratios, quick ratios, and the working capital. It is fully covered at the cash which we converted easily, that we have studied in the earlier session. Today we are going to see is turnover ratio. Under the turnover ratio, there are stock turnover ratio, trade receivable turnover ratio, trade payable turnover ratio, working capital turnover ratio, and finally fixed asset turnover ratio. So what is turnover? Turnover ratio is the percentage of amount which we have invested in the business for the period of time. Say we can use 12 months. So within the 12 months, the amount which we invested in the business should be replaced or should be acquired new things. That is called the turnover. Within the month, within the specific period, might be length of time is 12 months. Within the period, we have to replace or we have to sold the product and we have to convert that asset to be a cash. That is called the turnover ratio. Now we will see stock turnover ratio. Stock, that is the inventory, it is the opening stock and the closing stock. So the opening stock should be opening stock and the closing stock should be converted as a cash. That is the turnover. Now we will see with this stock turnover. The stock turnover formula is cost of goods sold divided by average inventory. So stock turnover ratio formula is cost of goods to be sold divided by average inventory. We know the meaning. The turnover is the amount, the cost of goods should be sold or replaced. That should be divided with the average inventory. What is the meaning of cost of goods sold? Might be the opening stock, purchase, direct expenses. It should be minus with the closing stock. That is the cost of goods sold. We know the formula for the cost of goods sold. That is opening stock plus purchase plus any direct expenses bit over that minus closing stock. This is called the cost of goods sold. Then what is average inventory? Average inventory is opening stock plus closing stock divided by 2. We know average is the 2. So opening stock plus closing stock divided by 2 is the average inventory. Now we will see with this follow sums. Opening stock 20,000, purchase 1,09,000, direct expenses 1,000, closing stock 40,000, administrative expenses 5,275, selling and distribution expenses 10,000, sales 2,50,000. We'll consider each items individually. First we will see cost of goods sold. So the formula opening stock, purchase, direct expenses all should be added and we will minus with the closing stock. So each item will write separately. The opening stock is 20,000 and the purchase is 1,09,000 and the direct expenses is 1,000 and the closing stock is 40,000. First we will complete the cost of goods sold, right? 20,000 plus 1,09,000, 1,29,000. Direct expenses is 1,000, so 1,30,000. 1,30,000 minus closing stock 40,000 is 90,000. 1,30,000 minus 40,000 is 90,000. So the cost of goods sold is 90,000. Now we will find out the average inventory. The formula is opening stock plus closing stock divided by 2. What is the opening stock? 20,000. Now we will find out average inventory. Opening stock plus closing stock divided by 2. Opening stock is 20,000 calculated in the form of, finally we have to conclude with the times. The values should be, we have to tell about in the form of times. So the stock turnover ratio for this numbers 3 times.